We are going to talk about some master data. Yes. So as you can see, here I have a PowerPoint. Yes. Unfortunately, I just have it in German. But just to make sure, we saw last time we were talking about parts master. Yes. Which is a very important part of the master data for the sales module. So today we will be talking about the customer's master data and also some other master data like the carriers. Okay, this is what we are going to be talking about today. Now your system. And here I have got one example. I'll go directly to the customer master. Yes, this one you can find it in the group 45 in the number 8. It will be different in your user menu. Yes, so but for sure you know where you can find it. But in the standard menu for Expert we have a group 45, and then the option 8 is the customer master. So I will type in here 08. Now I am in my customer master. Yes. I don't know if I know the name of my customer. I can just type in, for example, the first letters and then press enter, and then I get displayed all the customers beginning with these letters that I typed in. Yes. Go back with S1 again. If I remember the name of my customer, then I can look for it with a question mark and a star like this, yes? And then I hit enter, and then I display all customers from customer master, okay? Then I can select customer with a number 1 and hit enter. Now I am into the customer master for this customer Kautex Textron. Is there any customer in specific that you would like me to show you?
You might pick one.
So
300 863.
Okay. 35863. Okay, it's already in this customer. So it's being used. Not 3. Now, okay. So then as we saw with the parts master, we always have on the top a header. Yes, this header has got some information, such as on the upper right side, we have the customer number, and we have the name, the industry, the street, the city, the postal code, and the county, and the status, which is active normally. The match code is a field the same as in Parts Master that you can use to group customers. So when you are looking for Chrysler, you just type Chrysler, and all customers with Chrysler in the match code will display it. We have also PO Box and PO Box code, and this field here, which is note. Yes, this note you can put here any information, and we display in certain screens. Okay. So let's go field. Each field, yes. The number, that's clear. You can also type in the fax number, the email address, the ESP code. What is the ESP code? ESP is for external service providers. Yes, this is in the case that you are delivering your customer not directly to his plant, but you are delivering to external warehouse. Yes. So then we have the whole process in system we have our main customer or end customer. We have the ESP, which is handled as a customer as well in our system. And we have, of course, a warehouse corresponding this ESP. In this way, we know what we have delivered to this external warehouse. Yes, we might talk about this more in detail when we talk about processes. Yes, but in the case that you are delivering to a warehouse, then you have two customer numbers. The one is the end customer, and the second one is the ESP customer. Yes, and this customer must be in the customer master with a number 1 here, which means this one is an external service party or provider. Okay, so that's what this is for, this ESP code. Questions about this ESP code? To you customers, you are delivering to an ESP code, ESP warehouse.
No.
You deliver always directly to the customer?
At least we set it up with, we don't have any ESP codes right now.
Okay, that's good to know. Okay, but now you know, yes, in this case, then you can put all the process with the ESP in the system, yes? Okay, so now let's continue. We also have here a name supplement, yes? This is a third name line for address if it's necessary. You could put here any additional information as a supplement for the information that you have already in the header. We also have the EDI plant number. Yes, no. I think you know about this information. This is a number that you get from your customer for the plant that you are delivering to, yes? This field is allocated here to the customer's master, but this field will normally be found in the delivery point, yes? I will tell you about this later. Let's continue with all the fields. We have here the field node, which is what I told you, that this one here, node, where you put any additional information. For the people who were not attending the first session, I was explaining to you that when hitting control or ALT and F1, you get an explanation of the field you are in. Yes, for example, in this case, the ESP code, ALT, key, and F1, and then get display. This is the external service provider, and so on. Okay. So to note, as you can see here, it's saying here you can enter a general note, which will be displayed in conjunction with the customer data when the order is processed. That's what I was telling you, that this information that you put here will be displayed in some other screen during the process. Okay. Then here a field which is a credit rating. Yes. This rating, I don't know if you used it. I don't know this. I don't know a lot of customers who are working with this, but here you can evaluate the customer's credit rating. Yes, it's a good customer regarding credit, is he paying good or not? And here you have got some, with a click, you can display the option that you can type in. So as I can see it, you don't use this field, otherwise you would have here the different information that you can choose. Okay. So regarding this, by the way, after this session, you will know what are important for your customer master. Yes. And you can then talk about this internally. And if you decide there are some fields that you are not using and you don't really need to have it in the customer master, you can let me know and we could change this. Yes, we can put fields, which is not the case, or we can erase some fields so that you get displayed only the information that you are working with. And so you can avoid misunderstandings or when someone new is beginning and they don't know what to put in, if it's a field which is not interesting, then you just could delete it, yes? So just let me know. Or if you want to leave it the way it is, it's also okay, yes? I just tell you there is an option that we could delete some fields if you don't use them. Then we have this manufacturing code, yes? So this field, yes?
Question. Is there a way that we can identify the critical fields that must be filled out? Because
I can very well. It's a echo.
Is there a way that we can identify the critical fields that must be filled out? Because as of right now, the only thing that we're doing is a copy paste from previous setups. Can we identify the different colors?
Yes, that's what I'm telling you now. Now I am explaining you what is each field for, and then afterwards you can decide, I need this field, or I don't need it, I don't want to have it. Like, for example, this credit rating. As I told you, this field, I don't think you are using it, as I don't see any further information within the code table, yes? I think this field is one of the fields that you are not using, as well as this manufacturing code. Yes, this manufacturing code, for what I can see, this is not a standard field. This is a customization. I don't know if anyone here knows what this field is for, as I will tell you, because I don't know if you here or if this is only additional information. What I can see is you have behind this a manufacturing code table, yes, where you can put Volkswagen, Lamborghini, GM, and all to name it. Yes. Brian, do you know if you use this field?
You know
yes.
And getting back with Michelle, what I can do is I can make any of these fields mandatory. Important ones will not, if you forget to fill it out, you cannot go through. So if you find something that you don't, some of these are mandatory. So if you want something that you have mandatory, that would give you you'll know when you're missing something in the information.
Actually, that's what I do.
Yeah. Just, I can set that up.
Okay, thank you.
And the next one is the language code. Yes. Because the language which is set up in the customer master will be the language for all the documents and correspondence with customer. Yes, in case we have American English, but if you have a customer in Mexico, for example, which is Spanish, then you can add to the customer master Spanish, and then the papers will be printed in Spanish. The next is status, yes. So it's active or passive. As you can see with the question mark, we have both options. And then because, for example, when you have a customer you're not working anymore with, you cannot raise the customer, of course, because there is a history generated in the system. But what you can do, is set it up to passive, yes, and the history remains that, but the customer is now as not active. Then the next field, which is a very important field, and is the supplier number with customer. That means your supplier number for the customer, yes. And this is a very, very important information because this has got also an impact in your ASN, yes. If you don't have this information, then it's not going to be sent in the ASN, and then you might get a information from your customer, no supplier number with customer, and then you get penalized, okay? So this is a very important information. The next information we have here is the currency. In this case, is US dollar. As this, well, what I can see, this is a customer against Chrysler, but even though it's in dollars, in American dollars, yes? So with enter, I continue with the field. Then partial and complete shipment. Here we can set up if the customer allows partial shipment or only complete shipment. Yes? If I put here a number 1, then you will be able to pick up the containers when you are delivering to your customer, but you can also say, okay, this container has got 500, but I only want to deliver 300, for example, yes? If you try to deliver 300 and it's not possible because it's 500, then this is the information that you have to go and change in your customer's master, because you are allowing here to do partial shipment. Then customer field, which is the same. I don't think this is something that you use, because this is a customer field which is used for customization. That's why of customer field. There is as well no info. Oh, sorry. No. Okay. With a question mark, you see, as you can see, no code is displayed. So I don't think you use this. You don't use it at all. So you can take it out. Okay. So the next one is customer group. Yes, the customer group. This is a field that you can use to do a kind of a sort of customers. Yes, for example, the Fiat Chrysler customers, the Volkswagen customers, and so on. If I go here with a question mark, we get displayed the code table 53 with all the different customer groups that you have in the system. Yes, this is for statistics and for sorting out customers. Yes. Now I have to go back because I don't remember what was the value. Oh, sorry. Which one was? 3. Okay, sorry. The next one, which is our company group. If I put a question mark in company group, as you can see, we have different company groups. Yes, this is a very, very important information in the system, because this one is going to manage how the system will translate the messages, the EDI messages. Yes, as you know, there are different kind of formats for EDI messages. Normally in the US or in America, Mexico, US, you are working with NTX12 and EDIFACT. Yes, that's what I mean with EDI format. Okay, but our internal format in the system is ODET. So we create our messages, and then these messages are translated to the format which your customer is requesting you. Yes, EDIFACT or NTX12. Okay, so this company group is managing what translation our translator will do of this message, so that the customer gets the message they want to. Yes, so that's why this information in the customer master is very, very important. Yes? Because if you don't have here the correct company group, then the message would look totally different than what customer is expecting. Yeah? And as you can see, for example, here, normally the first ones, you don't use them because they are relating to more to Europe. But if you go further, for example, with the 800, you can see the 803, for example, is the Chrysler one. Yes, you have then the General Motors, the Ford US 801. and so on, okay? So if you're a customer, this is very important for the translation of the message, okay? Do you ask about this? Continue then, we also have a container group. In container group, if we get displayed the code table, you will see that we have different groups, yes, according to the to your customers. This is the information you have. You have, for example, Opel, Porsche, BMW. I don't think you use this field, but what is this for? This field is grouping your containers to a customer. Yes. So when you are working with you are counting, for example, in the system the containers which are leaving and coming back and so on, and you would like to see a report of the containers for Mercedes-Benz AG, then you can do it with this company group. Yes, we will see this afterwards when we talk about the container management. Yes, but just for you to know what this field is for. Here you can group your different containers to a customer group. Okay, I don't think you are using it because the customer behind the table might not be the ones that you are delivering to. So next field that we have here is the Nielsen zone. Yes, this Nielsen zone is something used in sales, yes, that you can set sales areas. And it's only a field which is used for sorting terms for statistics. And I think even that you use this field at all, okay? We see the code table behind is empty. So this is a field which you are not using in the system. Next one is collected invoice. And with a question mark, you will see that we have collected invoices. In this case, we have daily, but we can also set it up for weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. Yes. What is this meaning? If you don't put here a mark for collected invoice, the system will print one invoice for each part number that I delivered. What the system does with a collected invoice is that all the part numbers that were delivered within a delivery node will, and in your, but you suppose you always print a note before the parts are leaving your plant, yes? So that's why it's daily. Collected delivery node, and this is exactly the same. We want one delivery node for many part numbers. If you don't put this one here for daily collective delivery node, they would get issue one delivery node for each part number that you deliver. Yes, this is not the use in Mexico, US. This is more in Europe. In Europe, they create one document for each part number, and that's why we have these two options. Yes, but you work only with, or mostly, I suppose, with collective invoice daily and collective delivery note daily. The next that we have here is the credit note flag. What is this meaning? Here I can say if I am receiving credit notes from my customer, you know, you deliver to your customers and with an invoice, and then the customer is paying your invoice, or he is sending you credit notes related to your shipment, which I think is the case for Chrysler. Yes, and we have functionality in the system where we say, okay, we are not sending invoices, but we are receiving credit notes. And then if you get these credit notes via EDI, then you can integrate them in the system, and the system would do the match of the credit note with the corresponding delivery note, so that you can then give this information to your accounting. Yes, and this is the field which is managing that the system knows I am expecting a credit note or not. Yes, but the condition for this to work is that we receive EDI messages for credit notes. Yes, and next one is to see if the message that the customer is sending us is compatible. Otherwise, we have to do some customization. Yes. So you know that this is possible, and this is the field that would manage that this is like this. Do you have any questions so far?
Nope.
Then let's continue with this value days. What you can set up is the value date, which will lengthen the payment period determined in accordance with the terms of payment. That means you have pays of terms for 30 days, and if you put here a value days, like 5 days, for example, then the terms of payment would be longer, would be 35. Yes, but I don't think you are using this field at all. Yes, so you see no code table behind, and I don't know how the system is working with your accounting. If you are transmitting all with an interface to the accounting, or they are running separated, I don't know if this is working. But as well as you have payment conditions and you work with these payment conditions, so you don't need to put any value dates. But this is what this field is for. Yes? Then is industry potential, which is the next thing. Here we can, do we have a code table here? No, you are not using this at all. Yes, here what we could do is we can a turnover can be identified as a percentage of the potential value for reporting. That means, okay, the industry potential for this customer is 50% of the turnover generated by this group or by this group of customers or whatever. Yes, this is more for statistics and this kind of information. But as I can see, you are not using it, as the code table is also empty. So this also a field you don't need. Yes, this industry potential. Then we have the market. Yes, in this field we can set up the kind of market we are supplying, and the options that we have here is export, domestic, and transfer. Yes, so this is something where you can set up, okay, this is a domestic sale or this is an export sale, and you could put it here. As I saw here, you had an I4 domestic. Yes, and this is more well for you in this case is information. Yes, for you to know this is domestic market, and in Europe this one is used as the EU regulations require a central registration of all the export business. Yes, and this is called to another system which is then defining this report that they have to hand up here in Europe. Yes, and for you in your case it's only information because there's no other system which is scoped to this. Okay. Then we have the type of business. Mostly are VAT registered companies. Yes, which are companies that are registered with a VAT number. Okay, so normally what you have here in this case is VAT registered companies. So, in the terms of payment, yes, in this case you will have the information in a code table, which is the code table number 14. all your payments, and then you can select them here. How do you set up this information? Yes, I need to go back as I didn't pay attention to. As we in the real system, I don't want to change anything yet, so that's why I always go back. Terms of payment, 12. Yes, this is the time you need for the preparation of the materials to leave to customer. Yes, and this is depending on what kind of the conditions you have. Yes, if your customer is picking up the material or if you are delivering it to the plant directly. Yes, and according to this, you can set up this lead time in days. Shipment, which is not exactly translation, as this field is named delivery. Yes, and you can set up the standard term of delivery for the customer. If I go back, you will see the options that we have available here. We call the code table, which is terms of delivery, and here is planned or is FOC forwarder, FB, and so on. So X work and so on. So this is what you can set up here. So now I don't know what I put here. So 01, I think it was 01. Put the shipment, yes, which is terms of shipment, how you are sending this, and in this case you can set up the transportation company you are using for this customer. And this information that you set up here will be proposed when order is processed. That is, when you deliver make the proposal, okay? Now, then we have house number, yes? The warehouse number, what we have behind is our warehouse that we have in the system, and in this field, you set up the main store from which you are delivering this customer, yes? And this warehouse will be proposed when you are processing the order. Yes, it's just like a proposal. As I can see, you don't set it up. It's not a problem, yes, because this is also dependent on how your system is being set up. So after that, we have this price breaks, yes, which is a field to make the price conditions with different price lists. Yes, you set up price lists in the system, and you can manage with the price conditions, or you work with sales price from contract. So if you see here, if you have something behind, you have wholesale list and retail list. I don't know if you work with this because this is more regarding to valuations. Maybe Brian, do you know if you use these price breakers?
No, we do not.
So that's what this would be, and I don't think you use it as well. And then there is the discount breaks, which is also related to these price breakers. This all refers to this list, or these discount breaks refer to the list in the price break. Yes, it's the field before. Use them. So these both fields, you don't need them.
That is price breaks.
This spring department uses that, but the other departments don't use it.
Okay.
I think this.
They use a disc spring department, but on this call right now, the disc springs, they order their parts and then some of the customers have the options to purchase at a certain quantity and things like that, and they get price breaks. But I believe they're the only division using those fields.
Okay, so this is more regarding to different prices according to the quantities that are being delivered, yes?
Right.
I understand what you mean, but mostly, for example, in automotive, you don't have this kind of arrangements, but you just set up a price that you have arranged with the customer, and that's why this is not very used, this price breaks, yes? It could be there are some specific markets where you could use it and you use it, yes? But for automotive industry, you don't use price breaks. So I mentioned this because that I would suppose that, for example, the plant in Mexico is supplying automotive and then they do not need these price breaks. If I don't know how you work, yes?
Yeah, you're correct, yes.
Okay, so then let's continue with the delivery notes. Here you can set up if you want to print only one copy or two or three or as many as you need, okay? The same for number of invoices. Here you can also set up how many copies you would like to print for the invoices. The four invoices, you can here select if it is, I will put the code table, if it's the gross or the net, including rate or service or discount, and not doing this, okay? So as you can see, you're using here the first one. This next field, which is print flag invoice, yeah? Here you can set up the default printing flag for the invoices, yes? Which is, for example, we have paper or EDI if you are sending the invoices via EDI or mail or fax or whatever, yes? So this is just a default value that you can set up here. So when you print invoices for this customer, the default printing flag will be P for paper if you choose to put here P for paper, and so on, okay? So we have this tax evasion invoice receipt. Let's see what it is. Here we have without one, we can see. Okay, with VAT or not, with value added tax. Check here if it was filled. Tax evaluation. I'm not sure filled yet. Yes, but your mind is if it will be determined using the information of the information. Sorry. So let's see. I will write this one because I'm not sure. I the meaning in German so that I know exactly what this is meaning. Okay. So that's one I will write it down. Okay. Number of orders of confirmation. In the system, it is also possible, for example, when you receive individual orders, to print order confirmations that you can send to your customer. Yes? And here you could set up the number of order confirmations you want to print. For the invoice, you can also here set up which is the format of the order confirmation, which is gross or net, as we said, for the invoices. We also have the default value for the printing flag for the order confirmation, paper, email, or however you want to print them. And then who you are sending this order confirmation to. I'm not sure if you use this. I'm almost sure that you don't print order confirmations. Do you?
No.
You do. Yes, I could say yes, because you are working with delivery schedules and call-offs, and in this case, you don't print order confirmations, yes? But for you to know, it is possible, and you would set it up then here. Set up, for example, if you would like to send the order confirmation to another customer, yes? If I put here a question mark, then you would go or be directed to the customer master, yes? And then you can look for the customer, for example, you would like to put field, yes? For example, now here I said, okay, order confirmation sent to Chrysler Group LLC, for example, okay? Order confirmation sent to this other customer because we are in this customer, yes, and first information was related to this customer, but if we also set up, okay, we send also the confirmation to this other customer for any reason, yes, because maybe the main customer is this one, but we are delivering this one, so then this one is the one who needs to receive the order confirmation. Then we would set it up here. The number to the number of copies, the format, if it's gross or net as well as before, and also the printing flag, it's paper or EDI and so on, okay? So this is related also to the order confirmation sent to another customer number. So here you have got a lot of fields, which I am almost sure you don't need them, yeah? You just have to right now, I don't want to say anything wrong. You have to clear internally if you need them, and if you don't, I would suggest just to delete them because they just cause a little bit misunderstanding, so that the people they have no idea what should I put here. Yes.
Yeah.
The next one we have is the send invoice tool. Yes. This is also something where a field where we can say, okay, I am delivering this customer, which is FCA Mexico, but the invoice goes to Chrysler Group LLC. Yes. So then you would set up here the customer number for Chrysler Group LLC, so that when I print the invoice will go to this customer and not to this one. Yes. When you have a deviating customer receiving the invoices. Then you can set up here the number of invoices which are sent to this other customer, the format of the invoices, gross or net, as we saw before, and the printing flag invoices, which is printing in paper or EDI or fax, etc. Yes, and remember this is just a default value. So then we have an additional invoice recipient, yes, which is, okay, I'm sending this invoice additionally, or this invoice goes to this Chrysler Group LLC, but I also send an additional invoice to this other recipient, yes, and here the same, if you, with a question mark, you are redirected to the customer's master, where you can select a customer number and then put it in this field. The same information, the number of additional invoices sent to this additional recipient, the format of these additional invoices sent is net, and then the printing flag for these invoices. So I'm sure if you need all these fields that we have got here, well, this one might be, yes, send invoice to, but I'm not sure if you really need them. This could be a case that you need it. Yes, for the other one, okay, you have to get internally. So then here the debitor number, that means the number assigned to this customer in the accounting system. If it is a different one than the one that we have here in the system, okay? Then the next field, sorry? No question?
No.
I thought there was something. So the next one is customer number determining conditions. Yes, then I can set up here also a different customer number, which is the one which will be determining the conditions, delivery conditions, and so on for this delivery customer number 300. Okay. Statistical customer number could be that you also have a statistical customer number. Yes, if I put a question mark, then this one is relating me to another my customer part, to my customer master, and then you could look for the customer to say which will for a statistical function. We have here representative 1 and representative 2. If you work in sales with representatives with commissions, yes? So then you set up here the representative, who is the representative, and then the commissions that they are getting, yes? So you work with this one because no representatives are set up table AB. So I mean that you need, and normally in automotive you don't have representatives for sales with commissions. Okay, so this one is sales. Yeah? Sorry? Okay. So the sales area, you can set it up here as well. Yes. If you want this according to sales areas. And you it here, and this would serve as a sorting term for statistics. Okay. So here, which is the clearing method. This is a functionality of the system for who are working with precious metals. I don't know if it's the case for you, yes, but some customers are working maybe with gold or with silver or aluminum or that kind of materials, yes, which have got some surcharges, and the prices are moving also. So here we can set up which clearing method we are going to use for the rate that will be taken when we are delivering to our customers when we are working with precious metals. I don't know if this is the case for you. Okay. So then we have the good stack version. This is also a very important field, yes, because here we set up what label will be printed for your customer. In this case, you have the CN, as you can see in the code table 60. You have labels which are available, and then would be new for Chrysler. Yes, so this is very important. You get a new customer with a new specification of a label, then we would do a customizing, yes, if this label is not available in this code table, yes. So if you have any problem with printing labels, the first, okay, let's check in customer master, do we have the correct good SAC version or not, and that will be one first thing to check if you have any problems with it, okay? The currency credit limit, yes, this is the currency for credit limit approving. Yes, there is a functionality in the system also to do this credit limit, yes, and in this field we would put the currency for this credit limit, because if you remember before we had already the currency for the customer. We have the customer number container. Put the number of other customer that can be specified if the container of this customer is used by customer, yes? So you would put here the customer number of the container. Modules, yes, I don't think you work with them. Let's see if you have something behind this. Okay, you only have one. With 5, I can see what is the code. So as I can see, you are printing this text in your delivery note. Yes? So, the fields here are available for you to set up a text that you would like to print for the customer set up in the text. Yes? That means here I set up, I would like to print for this customer this text. Yes? The next is, where is this text going to be printed? This I can set it up in the text itself. As you see, I showed you this one is printed on the in delivery notes. So that means when I allocate this text to this module in customer's master, this text will be printed in all delivery notes printed for these customers. Yes, if you might have another text that you always would like to print in the invoice, then you could create a new text and you could locate and say, okay, this text will be printed in invoices only, and then you set it up here, for example, 002, which is not available, and then you would be printing this one in all invoices. Now I will show you later, yes, where you can create this text here. Okay. Now here you can set up field 2 text, yes, in document set up in the text for this customer. Okay. Question later where you can create this text. The next information that we have in our customer master is this logical ID remote and logical ID local. This is important information for the EDI communication. In this case, in the customer master, is just information. Yes. The important thing is to set it up in the correct master data for EDI. In this case, it's some information in the customer master. Yes. And this will be like, let's name it the address. Yes. Remote will be the address of your customer for EDI, and the logical ID local would be your address for the EDI. Okay, so then here we have another field which is scan shipments to verify. This, I suppose, is a customization. I don't have any explanation for the field. And I guess this is what you use in order to set up that the shipments must be scanned, yes, to do the verification. If you need to scan for a certain customer, then you just leave it empty, like this, okay? But this one is managing if you scan the shipment or not. And the last information that we have is the zip code, street, and the PO box, yes? Then country, in case you have the 99, let's see what the table, as you can see. Oh, sorry, I'm still in the text. So now it's that country. As you can see, we have the different countries, and we have also at the end if it's US or if it's non-EC country. In this case, you have one for US, and in this case, it's Mexico. Then you have here no European Community country. Yes, and this one is the one which is manage the next information for the VAT flag, yes, because according to the information that I put here, for example, if it's Germany or if it's France or if it's the US or if it's Mexico 99, then I get displayed here, which is not available, yes. This VAT description will set up in the system. Let's see if we have something for the US. For example, if I choose here US, okay, and see the VAT flag here, then for the US you do have, what is the flag? This is the percentage of VAT which will be calculated. In this case, if you have a 0, it would be 0%, and I think for most export deliveries you would have a 0%, or if it's domestic sale, then you would have the corresponding VAT rate. Yes, in this case it's 6% for the. If it's Mexico, I don't know what is the VAT percentage, then it would be here, yes. A question, who is setting up this information in the system? Brian?
I think at least for the U.S. it's always 0. I don't know where it's used. Accounting may call me sometime and say they need a new VAT, which is very rare, but I don't know. Logistics-wise, we don't care.
In Mexico, is someone putting this information in the system in Mexico?
I don't think so.
I think so, okay. And the invoices that you print, they're always with 0%, yes? Don't have
in the U.S., I know.
Okay, that's why it works even though you have no information here in the table, yes? Okay. So, but this is what this is for, yes, the country and the rate, yes, the percentage of the VAT, which has to be calculated for the invoice, okay, or for the sales. So, now I'll go back. Just change anything in your customer master into the customer again. Now we are through with, yes.
I was going to Spanish, it's okay.
No problem.
¿Cómo sirve? O sea, nada más te da la opción de al momento de la etiqueta, o cómo es que sirve esa opción.
Aquí lo que hacemos en el maestro de clientes, lo que hacemos es decir, estos envíos se van a escanear, ¿sí? Es lo único que decimos. Ahora es el proceso, a ver después cuando entremos a procesos y vamos a ver entonces cómo funcionan los envíos con escáner, ¿sí? Aquí lo único que hacemos es decir si es un envío que se va con escáner o no necesita ser escaneado. No hay mayor información aquí, ¿sí? Después viene el proceso donde decimos, ok, tenemos la orden del cliente, tenemos qué es lo que vamos a enviar, realizamos el envío y escaneamos, ¿sí? dependiendo de que el cliente tenga el flag en Scan Shipments to Verify, ¿sí?
Ok. Y también aprovechando lo del local ID, eso, bueno, es el EDI, ¿no?
Exactamente, este es tu dirección, por ejemplo, el remote es la dirección del cliente y la local es la tuya, pero realmente aquí solamente tiene la función de información, por aquí no establece ninguna comunicación ni nada, la comunicación se establece mediante los datos maestros del EI. ¿Sí? Aquí solamente es informativo, por eso está vacío y no importa, tu IRAI funciona aunque esté vacío porque solamente es informativo, ¿ok? Les puedo mostrar después para que vean dónde se ponen los datos IRAI, pero vamos paso a paso, por ahora estamos con los datos maestros y vamos a pasar también a la cuestión de procesos, ¿ok?
Ok.
¿Alguna pregunta?
No.
Okay, we continue in English. So now here we are in our customers master. We have already, we went through all the fields, and now we have here, for example, this F3 for this, yes, and this is also very important. If I hit the key F3, you would see, for example, for this customer number, we have 6 shipping addresses, yes. If the first one, the fields. First of all, we have as well a header with the information about the customer, the address for this shipping address, which might or is different than the address of this customer, not necessarily, but most times. And then we also have here ship address number. Okay, so in my system, I have customer number 363, and in case I am displaying the shipping address number 14. All the information that I set up in the shipping address is the information which will be relevant for my EDI. So I'll go through all fields. First of all, we have the field status, is active or passive. Then code, which is clear. The short name, in this case, is Chrysler Saltillo, and this is the name that you get displayed in most screens. Yes, you will not see FCA, but you will see the short name in all your sales screens. So that's why it is important to put here a correct name, which is helping you to know what customer you are talking about. You can set up anything here. If you leave this field empty, then you will see no name displayed in some masks. So, okay. If you don't my name up in Customers Master in the shipping address, okay? So then we have our name. We have industry, which is the same as the name supplement, yes, which are additional fields for information about the customer. The street, the postcode, you got it as well. Let's see if you have a code table here behind. Well, this is in the case of the US. When you need to put anything here. In this case, we have, it's also US in this case, different states in the US. And it's also a very important information, yes, which is the EDI shipping address, because this information is sent through the EDI in your ASN. It's not up in this address, you might have problems with your ISN. Okay, what is this in a shipping address? If you can see, if I go back with F1, it yeah. Okay, F3. Then the shipping address again. So this is a very, very important field for the EDI. Okay? That's the shipping address. For you, in your system, your shipping address is 14, but 76. Okay? The EDI plant number, which is also an information that you get from your customer, and it's also very important for the EDI. Then we have the same as in my customer's master, the lead time in days, the shipment, yes, the transportation, the warehouse number. In this case, you do have a warehouse, set a warehouse, and why you don't have a warehouse in the customer number, yes, but in the shipping address you do. So if you have a warehouse in the customer master and also in the shipping address, the system will take the one of the shipping address. If you did anything here, then it would take the one of the customer, yes? The country code, so mark, we can see all the different values that we have in the code table A for countries. In this case, Mexico. Okay. 412 from Mexico. Then we have pool group point. So this is an information that you need to set up for your ASN. Or for Chrysler, in this case, they need to have this information in the ASN, the pool group point. Then you will see that these pool groups are set up in the code table, small u, capital D. Yes. And here's the different pool groups that you have in the system. Sorry, I have to go back as I didn't. Oh, sorry. There was C. So now look in the code table and I see the C with a 5. I can display the information behind the value. And then okay. Well, this is actually the same 00189, and this is the name. You have, for example, also, for example, we have its PC75A. In this case, you can see the description of the value, and then the value is behind this, okay? In this case, you need only put 00189, and we don't know if it's Chrysler or whatever it is, but you know, yes, and that's the important thing. So just show you how this is, or how it looks like, yes? And the pool groups, if you get a new pool group, for example, then you have to go to this code table, and then you can create the pool group. As I can see, you have several groups, yes? I will show you how to get to this code. Then I have here an information about the route number. The turn case, you only have one value, which is 232, which is used for another customer. I don't know customer this one is used, but not for Chrysler, as we don't have the information here. Okay, information that you are setting up, or is there someone in Mexico doing this?
I don't know what it is. We don't have it on the U.S. side. I must have missed it when I was setting up two different companies. I
Well-
don't think that might be left over from Germany.
Also, yes, but it's important. For example, if you have some time, but because right now you are already working, yes, and it's no problem. But it might be that you get a new customer, a new shipping point, yes, shipping address, and then the customer telling you you didn't send the pull group, for example, in the ASN. Then you know that you have to go here, and then you have to put this information for the pull group in the shipping point, yes, and the same. If they are telling you something about a route number, yes? In this case, you only have one. You might not use it at the moment, but just to think about it, if sometime comes something new and they are saying, okay, route number was not sent in the ASN, then you know where you have to go and check, yes? The goods version, which is the labels that we printing for this delivery. And have here media too. Okay, you can write here any information for specific for Honda where you are to, but this is a customization of the field is not for a standard. Do you know you put right here for Honda?
Right,
Yeah.
was this created specifically for Honda, Ryan?
Exactly. It's we're gonna into a Honda customer. There's something in there, but since it's in a Honda customer.
And here you put information about where this is going to be shipped to. For Honda only, of course, for Honda. Okay.
And is this where location goes? Because, you know, prototypes, they create a new location for each event.
No, that's right. Event for like prototypes, we have to set up a new ship to. Anybody else in our system. So, yeah, we can look at, after we're done, we can go through a Honda one real quick and see.
We can do that.
Can you, for example, yesterday's order once we're done?
I'm familiar with Honda process.
No, I'm not familiar. I just know the scan process is no problem, but with Honda I'm not familiar yet. But let us talk about this afterwards, Brian, because then we have to discuss something. But we have a look at the customer. That's no problem, yes? And today the topic is only the master data for the customer and for the carriers, yes? Okay. If you want to have something, let's do it. Just have an idea what you mean, yes, but not a lot of time. So now I continue with this, and then we look at the customer of Honda. Yes. And this field here, print year, date, cumulative. Here you can say no cumulatives, prior cumulatives, or the year cumulatives. Yes. That you have customized. So this is information that I have to check what you're looking for, yes? And okay, then we have if it's a sheet is scanned and the country. Yes, and that would be our sheet, okay? Let's go to a supplier. A supplier Honda. Here is mostly the same. There is nothing specific. the scan to, it's not here, but it's in the shipping point, FC. And see all the shipping points that you have for Honda. And it's this one, for example. What I have here is, for example, this information, which is the plant number as well. Yes? But it might be that it was customized here so that it's printed somewhere else. And that's why. Okay, I don't have any further information but this one for Honda. Okay? That's the EDI plant number. Let's see one. So, in this it's different. Here is number, and then in this shipping address. So you have something different in these two shipping points. Yes. The question is, what would be the one that there should be really put in? Yes. For example, here you don't have anything. So I might have to ask Christy, as she knows better how you work. Yes, Brian?
I was talking to Michelle before the meeting, and we're having issues right now. I sent it to Christy and Jackie Gams.
Yes, yes.
And I'm kind of letting them, they come in on our system, make these changes, so we kind of let them make sure it works, and then they can give us the specifications.
Is it that you have new issues because of a new shipping point, or?
It's a different 850 documents instead of 862. Shipping is our production plant. You see it does not have E-dash.
Yes.
And we're fine with production because they come in as 862. It's the prototype that come in as 850 purchase orders. And even Jackie Gams from Infor is having issues with it.
Yes.
So they're essentially talking right now about that.
Yes, I am sure about that. Yes, if Jackie doesn't even know that. Yes. Okay, so then let's continue. Yes. So we would be ready then with our customers master. So what you mentioned is, well, I'm sure you know how to create a new one. Yes, if you would like to create a new customer, you don't have the option F6 because I suppose the customers are created in Germany and you just copy them, or in the US. Yes?
Correct.
Okay, let's copy them then, or you create them directly in Mexico plant. So that's why you are not authorized to create a new one. So let's go again here with Honda, for example. And you just have to set up the information that you have for the customer. With every you have the shipping address. With or you can delete, but of course you are not deleting a customer which has already history. Only if you have just created and you would like to delete it right away, then it would be possible. Otherwise, it will not be possible. With Shift F12, and we can see the next options that we have. Info tool, which most of you might know, where you can display the system. Mailbox, which is the same as the mailbox we were talking about the last session when we were talking about the parts master, but you don't work with this mailbox. And we have this Shift F5, where you can put an additional address. So as you can see here, in this case, for example, you use it for an additional address for invoice. And sorry, Shift 12 again, and the Shift F20, which is Shift F8, just to see Hello. Or who last change the customer. Okay? So this is the key function that you have in the customer's master. Questions about customer's master? Okay, then my customer number, and I have for one customer different shipping addresses, yes, and the information set up in the shipping address is the one that the system will take into account, yes, not the one of the general customer. If you have any look at the customer, okay? So I would say now we have a little break, if it's okay for you, 10 minutes break, and we continue at the 40, yes? 1840 for you would be like 12, Brian?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yes? Okay, so 10 minutes break, and then we continue. Thank you very much.
Okay.
So let's go with text modules. These text modules, if you can remember, we can allocate them to a customer. The second one is to allocate them to a contract, yes? But in a contract, it would be specific only for this part number and this customer. And if you allocate it to the customer, then no matter what part number, but the customer, the text will be printed in the document which you set up in the text. So the same as in the group 45, option 2, you have the text module. 02. The important thing here is that create them always with the AT, yes, which is the one for the sales module, okay? This sales module, this is coming from the German, okay? So you have different text. If I go with a 5 display, then I can see that example, this text, you have created it to be printed only at an invoice, yes? If I would like to create a new one, then I have to hit the key, the function key F6. I find a number, for example, the 14, and very important 80. And then I can put here the title of my text, and here I can, with a question mark, what documents I would like to have this text printed in. For example, I would like to have it in the packing slip, and I also like to have it printed in the invoice. Yes, or you can put as many documents as you would like to, or only one, and then here you can, yes, then with enter, which I will not do now because I don't want to create it. So if you don't want to create it, you just go back with F1, okay? So, you know, if you would like to add an additional text to be printed at a delivery note or at an invoice, now you know where you can create this text, and then you can allocate it to the first master. Sorry. Then your text. The question will receive one, and you have this one, but this is the way you create your text, okay? We also have here this code table management, the number 3. Yes, table management. You can the code tables that you need in sales module, for example, like company group, like we said, this is an important one for the EDI translation. And so, and as you can see here, you can also set up the terms of delivery. When you have terms of delivery, you could create them here. You have here the terms of shipment. In case you do a new carrier, then you could create here. Terms of payment, which can be created here. Yes. Always an F6 and then create the information. Well, not yes.
Right, Edith, I'm the only one that handles the tables,
Okay.
so you probably don't want to go over that.
Okay, so you don't create a master data. Term payment, you create them here, but I'll show it. Okay, so then I continue with carriers. Okay?
Okay.
This is also in this group 45 in the number 7. So I see here you have the different carriers you are working with. Yes. In order to create a new carrier, you do options. Yes, you can copy an existing one with a number 3. Yes, and say, okay, this is my carrier double zip, for example. Copy it from carrier 51. Yes, which is this one that I selected. Okay, then I enter. I get all information already because I am copying it from an existing one. Yes. So what is the important information that you have to set up here in your carrier? We have the name of the carrier, name 2, yes, which is the second possibility for the name carrier. You have 3 fields for the carrier. If you need an additional information for the name, then you could put it here. Then with the address, you have the street, the city, the state, the postcode, the country, and the short name. The short name is the same as in Customer Master. You need to put something, otherwise in some screens you will not see the information. Yes, because some screens are displaying not the name, but the short name only. Okay? So, here we have also as well one field which has got no name or any at all, where we set up the custom means of transport. Yes? Here you can set up if it's by sea, by rail, by road, by air, and so on. You can fix or you also set it up when you are shipping the material, yes? Because it might be not always by road, it might be sometimes by air but this information you set up here, and this information might be different customers requested for the ASN. Yes? We have different groups that we have to set up in the carrier that might impact in your ASN. Yes, but this is different from customer to customer. This IL number, you use it. I have never seen a customer who knows what is this ILN number. Then we have the telephone. Telex, you don't use it anymore. The fax, the lead number. So this is not the note number. This is the description is not correct. Here you could put the carrier contract number if you have one. Yes, you can see that if you hit 1, you will see in this field, enter the carrier's contract number. Okay? So then we have of bill of lading copies to print. Here you set up how many bill of lading copies you would like to print. And plant number. But if you remember, you also have it in your master, in your customer master. You have this information, and that is the relevant one. Yes, normally you don't set up this shipping address and plant number information at the carrier, but you could do it as well. Also, something very important in this master data for the carriers is that you allocate this carrier to a customer. Yes, when we're talking about sales, if we are talking about the supplier, that's why here you have the option customer supplier. Yes, how you do this allocation is with F8. We have the yellow freight, which is transportation, but we might work with this transportation or with this carrier for different customers, yes? So depending on that, then we can do this allocation with F8. So I hit F8. You can see, for example, freight or my yellow freight, which is the one I'm creating now, has got no locations. So how do I do this allocation to a customer? Hit then get displayed information. If you have to allocate it to a customer, then you put here a number 1. If you would like to allocate it to a supplier, then you would put here the number 2. And according to that, what you put here, then you can set up here the customer number or the supplier number. So if I type here a question mark, the start going to display the customer's master. Yes, because I would like to allocate, I said 1, I would like to allocate a customer. Okay. Then I could select customer with number 1 and have my allocation to customer arrow raising. Yes. This information that I put here is the forwarder's customer number, your customer number in your customer master, in case you have created this forwarder as a customer in your customer master. The next information that we have is the forwarder customer number, and is the customer number as defined by the forwarder. Yes, that's the number you have for this customer by the forwarder by the forwarder. We will have a look at this in other freight. Yes, then we have the freight costs. Yes, we can call the table. Here you set up the franking flag code. Is this chargers forward, free domicile, Franco domicile, and so on. You can put this information here from code table 65. Equipment type, again with a question mark. Is this an ocean, a truck, and so on? These are the options that you have in code table 67. So you select it here. And you have the container ID. This is the container. When you have you can put this license plate number here, yes. But normally, when you deliver, you always have different trucks, yes. So it's not always the same license number. Set it up here. But I think when you do the the collect of the shipment, yes? Last one is the book container to supplier number. So this is something that we use, for example, when you are working with accounts in containers. That means you have containers that go to the customer and come back empty to you. Normally, containers which have a big value, and that's why it is important to keep the records of the containers in order to know how many containers you have, how many containers are in transit, how many containers are with your customer. Yes? So, this in the case you are doing this trade with the forwarder. That means you are just transferring containers between and forwarder. Yes, and when that's the case, the forwarder should be created as a supplier in the system, and then you would put this supplier number here, so that time when you deliver or when you receive containers back, they be added to the account of this supplier. For terms, counting the containers in the account for the containers. Yes. Now I'm going to go back with F1 because I don't want to create a new one as we are in the real system. Yes.
Hi, my name is Dina. Regarding that field that you were just discussing, I believe most of the automotives have their own website that they want that information to go to. Like they direct on their website, when they bring their dunnage back into us, have to go into their website and key in those sheets that they bring in. I didn't make that comment.
Yes, thank you, Dina, for the information. This is the same. No, I know about this. Yes, and this is the same as well here. For example, in Europe, they have a website where they can print these statements for packaging. Yes, but the question here is when you're printing the statements from the website of the customer, then you are attained, yes, or you are you depend on what the customer is saying. And if the customer says 10 containers are missing, then 10 containers are missing, and you have no idea, or I don't know, maybe you do know where they are. So this is a tool we have in the system with the container management where we can match ourselves, yes, what containers are in our store and what containers left with the delivery to our customer. It's like a tandem. Yes, it's like keeping your inventory so that you say, it could be that you say, I have 100, and the customer says, but you should have 200. And then, this means money for you as well. So that's why. And this is also possible in the system to trace where containers are and to keep account statements for these containers. Yes, and in the case you are doing this with the carrier, then is when you need this field here. But if you do it with the customer, you don't need to put anything in this field. Yes, but I will show you this later when we do the container management session. Okay?
All right. Okay.
Thank you very much. So now let's go to a carrier that you work with a lot, or can you tell one carrier, for example, you work a lot with?
What's one of the carriers that Mexico uses a lot for their customers?
Okay, found one, yes. No problem. So we have, for example, Penske, yes. I just wanted to show you, yes, the Penske, you have created it in the system with the forward number PS, you have the information for the forwarder, like the general information, name, and the city. It's not necessary to put an address there, but the fields for this information is important. The bill of lading copies to print. And then 8, the allocation to the customer. Here you can see you have a lot of allocation or some allocations, yes, for this cash allocated to different customers. Well, mainly it's Ford, but we have different customer numbers and different shipping addresses for Ford, yes? So let's have a look at one of these. Split with 2, then you see this carrier, which is Penske, is allocated to customer number 1, customer number 610000, and shipping address 31. So this allocation can be more specific as just the customer number. You can also allocate it to customer and shipping address, yes? Then the next one is forwarder's customer number. Maybe you don't know, or normally you don't have this information, yes, and that's why it's enough if you put a period, or maybe in this case you put a number 1, because it's a must field. That's why you have to put something in this, yes. Then we have the forward customer number. You have this PSKL. Charges forward. The shipment type is a consolidation shipment. Yes? So these are information that you have to be aware of when you create a carrier. Yes, because this information will be sent within your ASN. Yes, and if you do not set it up correctly in the carrier's master data, then you will not have the correct information and you will have problems with your ASN, okay? And see, for example, here, as you don't have any, you don't information then here because you don't put the license plate because this is always changing, and you are not doing accounting with the carrier. Yes, so these are the information which are important. If you, when do you see that this information is not set up in the system? Yes, when you do the delivery to the customer, then sometimes you get an error message which is saying you that the customer, no carrier, the carrier is not allocated to customer or something like that. Then you know, okay, that's the problem. I have created the carrier, but I'm not allocated to my customer or to my customer and shipping point. Yes, but this, you can do it here in your carrier master, or you can do it as well when you are doing the delivery, and then it's going to ask you, and it's saying you can enter it if you press F6, and you press F6, then you get displayed this screen here, and you can create the allocation while doing the delivery, not in the carrier master, okay? But the best is to create it in the carrier master so that you have all your master data completed. Any questions about carriers?
I guess I'd just like to stress my experience that if and when there are any expedites for, in particular, automotive or customers where ASNs are involved, this is an area that needs to be checked on a regular basis to ensure that that is linked up to what expedite is being used for that shipment, because it's set up as a regular carrier for the normal ship, but whenever an expedite's involved, there's usually that aren't linked to certain customers, and that cause an ASN to fail.
Exactly. Yes. That's why it is very important that you all are aware of the importance of this carrier master. Yes, because if you have a look at it, it looks like I just need to have a name and an address and that's it. But that's not it. Yes, this is very important, as your colleague just mentioned. I guess it was Tina. Yes. Okay. As she mentioned, and her experience working with this is that you also have to make sure that when you are expediting something, normally you work always with Penske, yes, but you have a urgent delivery which will be now sent per UPS, yes, and now you have to make sure that UPS is allocated to your customer you are expediting to these materials, and that this allocation has got the correct information about this freight cost and shipment type, because otherwise this is going to have an impact in your ASN and then you will get penalized. Yes. That's why this is really very, very important when you are creating or sending a part number with a new carrier which was not sent before, that you make sure that the master data is completely created in the system. Mostly, not only that this is created, this one here, but this one, the location with F8 is the most important. Yes, the next step comes, yes, and this one is when you are doing the collate of the shipment. There you are also putting information which is relevant for ASN, but the basis is for the carriers, yes, and they have to be allocated and with the correct information so that your ASN is correct. Thank you. Do you have any other questions?
Brian? Yes. Hello, I lost Mexico.
Okay.
Can you?
So I think, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, I thought it was gone. Now I will go back and most important thing, yes, for the carriers. Not only just to set up the carrier here, but the most important thing, as we mentioned already, is to do the allocation with F8 for a regular delivery, but also for regular deliveries or urgent deliveries, expeditions, or whatever you do. Yes, always make sure that this data is set up, because otherwise you will have an impact in your ASN. So that would be everything related to this carrier's master data. I don't have any questions. Or do you have a chance?
Sí.